Welcome. Today is about the general framework of spirituality. I want to highlight in this video the fundamental principle from my perspective. What is the core of spirituality? What is the hardcore of spirituality? What is the red thread that runs through all aspects of spiritual practice? Spirituality basically is about ethics, about morality, about morality. It begins with our early moral formations in our childhood and eventually continues with the specialized form as spiritual practice. To make myself clearer, I resort to some biblical references. The first blessing preached by Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount goes like this: Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. What does this poverty mean? In my opinion, this poverty refers to be poor in malice. And here is the key word that defines the basic principle of spirituality. Non-malice. Malice, non-malice. This is the cornerstone in which we have all the practices. We have all the meditation techniques, malice and non-malice. We have the injunction of Jesus: be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So be harmless, have no malice within you. This is the injunction of Jesus. Be harmless without malice. The absence of malice gives rise to the true peace within ourselves, not the superficial peace that the world gives us. The superficial peace of the world is the peace that arises from satisfying our own desires. But the true peace, the golden peace, the spiritual peace is that type of peace that comes from expelling the malice out of our souls. In Orthodox tradition, in the liturgic exercise, there's a passage called Litany of Peace, in which the priest says, in peace, let us pray to the Lord. So peace is very important, is the prerequisite of spiritual practice. Peace comes first, then comes prayer. It is very important to know this sequence. Reconcile with your brother is another injunction. Reconcile with your brother before you present your offering to the God. The brother basically means everything. Reconcile with everything, with all people, with your own condition, with your own environment. So this reconciling process gives rise to a very precious type of peace, the peace that have no malice within it. Not a fraction of malice, not a bit of malice. So making this type of peace is our job before praying. Eliminating malice can be called in the spiritual process as the calming process, the stilling process of the soul, the quieting process of the soul. This is a process that precedes the prayer. So, spiritual process can be understood of two sub-processes: calming, quieting, stilling, and the second one, prayer. Quieting the soul has the main objective of eliminating gross types of malices, and the prayer eliminates the subtle ones, the deep, hidden types of malices within our soul. So, spiritual process is a process of liberation, but a liberation from evil, a liberation from the chains of malice. So, choosing non-malice, understanding non-malice, is the essence of purification. Working non-malice is the essence of purification. For non-malice, we have different synonyms like harmless, innocence, purity. The purification process basically is a process of cultivating non-malice, of purging uh, the malice out of our souls. Deep stages of purifications are stages of holiness. In Orthodox tradition, we have three stages of purification. The initial one, called catharsis, also called dispersion, apatheia in Greek, and the next two that pertains to the domain of holiness. Theoria, which means seeing God, and theosis, union with God, the most advanced stage of spiritual practice. So, our soul has many levels in which different types of malices manifest. In this video, I want to highlight only the surface level of our soul, the level of emotions. I called it the triad of wickedness, the unholy triangle, made by three categories of emotions: cravings, angers, and fears. Malice is manifest in anger. We can easily recognize malice as malice in anger, in different types of furies, in irritation, in hate. But malice is also present in craving and fear, but in a hidden way. It is hidden in craving, it is hidden in fears. To understand better this aspect, I will explain the perihoretic principle. Perihoretic principle comes from Orthodox theology, or Christian theology. Uh, Perihoretic principle explains the way God is one, but uh, in three persons. Three persons that are not separate from each other and yet distinct. This perihoretic principle is based on the Greek word perihoresis, that means dancing around, moving around. Peri means uh, around, and horeos means movement. So, metaphorically said, all the persons of Holy Trinity, they dance around each other. They indwell together and interpenetrate, but without mixing one with each other. This perihoretic principle is applicable also to this uh, triangle of emotions. In what way? Craving, anger, and fear, we can find all the time together. Uh, this is not evident at the first sight. We perceive them as being separate. Craving is craving, anger is anger, fear is fear. But in craving, it is also hidden anger and hidden fear. If our object of craving is removed, we instantaneously develop anger. And also, we have some kind of fear in craving, fear of not being separated by the object of our craving. In anger, we also have craving and fear. And in fear, we also have craving and anger. In anger, we have the craving for revenge and fear of not accomplishing this purpose. In fear, we have craving for removing fear. Yes. And anger manifests the word, the object that provoke fear in us. So, in every aspect of craving, anger, and fear, we can find malice. A malice that must be discarded in our spiritual effort. Malice is the juice of sin. Malice is another word for sin. Another word for sin. So craving, anger, and fear, in which we have malice, these are types of impurified emotions, sinful emotions. Let's talk a bit here about patience. In spiritual process, patience is a very important instrument. Uh, it plays a crucial role. The virtue of patience is not merely enduring adversities, but essentially preserving non-malice, a non-malice state of the soul in the storm of temptations. Because when we are tempted, we temptations basically wants to arise, gives rise to a type of malice in the form of craving, of anger, of fear. So patience is refraining from developing malice in the process, in the heat of temptation. What is the fertile ground of developing different type of malices? Saint Maximus the Confessor said that proliferation of sin is possible due to three main factors, the so-called three giants. These three giants are ignorance, laziness, and forgetfulness. Greek, in Greece, they are called agnoia, ameleia, and lete. Ignorance is counteracted by becoming aware of the mechanisms of malice, by study, observation, and contemplation of our own experiences. So only theory is not sufficient to get rid of malices. The experience is crucial because everyone has its own types of experience. Nobody can learn you to get rid of malice until you observe yourself deeply, observe your own continuum, how malices, the dynamics of malices, how they emerge, uh, in relations with different types of interactions, temptations. Laziness is counteracting the second giant, amelia, laziness, is counteracted by becoming aware of the destructive potential, of the profound destructive potential of malice, and benefits ensuing following, expelling malice out of our being. The third giant, lethe, forgetfulness, is counteracted by learning uh, and applying what I call the art of concentration, the art of being attentive on all layers of our spiritual exercises. So before I conclude this presentation, I want to highlight this subtle principle, not obvious, but very important to know. No malice comes first, not goodness. Non-malice comes first. First comes denial of sin, denial of malice. Afterwards comes in a natural way, in a, in a more natural way, the goodness. So before trying to be good, we have to try to eliminate malice from our soul. No malice first, then goodness. I conclude this presentation wishing you to be without malice. Let's be all without malice altogether. Thank you for watching this.